Okay, YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And I feel like it's been a little while since I talked to you guys. As you can see, we got Susie outside, my son's bike and my bike outside too. And we got the big girl back there, still not painted. I'm staring at the paint right now, right in front of me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Today, we're trying to get this tiny little garage that I have, a little one-car garage, that also ends up getting other stuff stored in it for the house, some stuff stored in it for the dogs. I have to master that whole point this way, that way, whatever. Today, we're gonna try to get this tiny little garage set back up to do a few things that I like to do. Stepped out of my sandal. We're gonna try to get it set back up for powder coating. See, we got one of our little powder coating ovens right there. We're gonna get the RR in the lift. See if we can see her peeking back there, the red and white bike. Really got to get that down. We're going to get the 2010 CBR600rr track bike on this lift, get that gas tank off, get that old gas out of there, and then see what we got to do to get that thing running right. So that's where we're at today. Probably won't get a lot of work done on the RR, if any, but we're going to get the garage set up. We're going to take some of this stuff on that cart there back to the shed, put a few things in the bus because I don't need the bus anytime soon. Then we're going to get the RR ready. If you don't know about that bus, check out the previous videos. 2003 Ford E450 turned into a toy hauler. Let's go. Boom. 2010 CBR600rr Leyla edition is up on the lift, and we're about to see if we can get this thing running again. Sorry about that fan noise earlier. It was in the background. We got my two bikes tucked away over there. Well, wife's bike on the right, my bike on the left. Dog food and chicken food and stuff. There's some other stuff to clean up in the garage. I got to get these boxes of paint for the bus out of here. Clean up this crap on the floor before we start. I've still got my helmet and my jacket just tossed up in there. Chipotle life. At least the bigger stuff is done. We can get to work on the RR. We can still put the powder coat oven over there if we need to. When it's time to powder coat some things. Now we got to get the gas tank off, the gas drain, the gas tank clean, put a battery in this bad girl, see where we're at. Last time she was running, it was terribly bogging at anything over like half throttle. This bike, for those of you who don't know, was crashed and completely rebuilt. And then first time out on the track is when it had those troubles. A lot of stuff on it's new. It's been sitting for a little while, but chain, sprocket, all brand new. Front sprocket's all brand new. Radiator's brand new. All the fluids in it were brand new except for the gas. I probably shouldn't run it on that gas. We'll see what we can do. Got a lot of new powder coated parts on there. Got new driven clip-ons. These were new grips, but after like one ride, they went to crap. This was a new paint job, but after sitting in the garage, it kind of went to crap. We'll get her spruced up though. We're stock up here. Dusty as hell after a couple years of sitting. Stock levers for now. All right, let's go. So let's start by getting the fairings off, or at least the gas tank cover off. So we can have a peek in the gas tank, see what we got in there, get that gas out, and hopefully get some fresh gas in. I also got the extra clean driven gas cap, kind of like the one that's usually on my 1000, but is now currently on my wife's bike. All right, well, we got the gas tank off. Unfortunately, it went as bad as I thought it would, but before we get to that, I've seen some minor evidence of rodent poop. I did have these rodent repellent bags all on the bike, but that's usually what that is there. Good news is I inspected most of the harness before I started this, and there's no evidence of them chewing on it. So we got the tank off, and unfortunately, I am embarrassed. It is bad. So this is the color of the fuel that came out after sitting for, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years. You can see there is chunks of rust coming out, and I honestly don't know if this tank will be salvageable. You can hear, let's see if I can get it. I don't know if it's coming on the camera, but I mean, you can just hear rust sloshing around like crazy. Not good. Looks like I'll be hunting for a tank. Also, when I was taking the driven gas cap off, I dropped a bolt in there, but I should be able to get that out. So next, I'll take out the fuel pump, which hopefully I can take apart and clean out, salvage that. I'm pretty familiar with doing so. I'm thinking this gas tank is probably a lost bus. But anyway, get that fuel pump off. Hopefully I can get that fuel pump off today. If not, I'm off tomorrow and I'll get to work on it tomorrow. But as you can see, there's a car missing from the driveway. My wife is not here and I'm watching my son, so I'm gonna get back in the house. So since we'll basically be going over everything while the bike is apart and the tank cover's off already, we might as well check the air filter. To do that on this bike, we're just gonna remove a couple of screws around the top with the air box. If you look here, this whole thing is kind of the air box. Gas tank sits behind it. Tank cover goes over it. What we're gonna do right now is just remove the, I think it's 6 screws along the top of this top portion of the air box. Actually, I already took the screws out. The ECU just kind of sits there, and then we're gonna flip this cover off the top. And we got a K&N filter in there, freshly lubed. Everything else looks okay. No evidence of critters getting in there. So we're good there. I already did take the airbox out. Look behind it, everything is good back there. The main focus on getting this thing running again is gonna be obviously getting the fuel system cleaned out, putting a new battery in it, changing the oil, seeing if we can't fire her up. Let's go. So we're gonna go ahead and take this fuel pump out now. 10 millimeter, what is it, 7 bolts or whatever it is. I already loosened them up a little bit, broke them loose. So we can get this started. Show you what this looks like. Show you some of the nastiness inside there too. We're really doing this outside because this is gross. Oh yeah. That pump is trash. Yep. Damn. Yeah, don't matter. I could take this thing apart and clean it. I doubt I'm rescuing this pump. And we wonder why we put fuel stabilizer in things, right? People always think fuel stabilizer is a myth. Nope, not a myth. I can't lie to you guys. I'm tempted to try to bring this pump back just to see if I can. I think we'll see how clean it gets. I have a bench test set up, so I think we'll see how clean I can get it and then bench test it. It's not looking too good. Oh, look at that. Yummy. Actually, I gotta be honest. The tank is looking salvageable. A little uric acid and a bag of rocks. Okay. All right, so if you follow me on Instagram, you know it's been a couple of days since we took the tank off the RR and started the rebirth of it. But so much has happened in those couple of days. We decided to go ahead and scrap that fuel tank and fuel pump and ordered a new one. So we got a replacement tank and a replacement fuel pump kit right there. Also, we lost power for like 3 days during a storm because, you know, live in the woods, they said. So anyway, today we are going to open up the new gas tank, see what we got, and the fuel pump kit, we have to rebuild it. So I'll explain what I mean by that. But basically, that's just the pump. We have to reuse that plastic housing, the float, the harness, and everything from the old pump. Let's get into it. As you can see, I have not opened either one. We're gonna do that on camera. Let's go ahead and take this fairing cover back off of the RR. Let's get this fuel pump open and see what we got. All right, let's get this tank out. I was told it had some scratches in it. Not too worried about that. A little strange that you would ship tank dirty like that, but let's see what it looks like inside. See if we have to give it a uric acid bath before we use it. It's not perfect on the inside. I was told there were some rust specks. It's not as bad as I thought, except for that one area right there. Not sure what happened there. That's dirt. I got an amazing price on this tank, so I think we're just gonna give it a uric acid bath anyway. But first, let's take a look at that pump. If you've never worked on a fuel pump for a motorcycle before, what we really have here is a couple of different pieces. This plastic housing actually holds the pump inside here with all the fittings, the float, the harness, and those kinds of things. I have not cleaned this yet. This was just from sitting in a bucket with a little bit of uric acid outside when it rained. What we have to do is take apart this housing, which isn't that difficult, remove the pump, and then what we have here is just a pump kit, just the actual components of the pump. No plastic housing, see? So basically a pump rebuild kit. So we just pulled them out of their first uric acid bath. As you can tell, especially by looking at that piece there, it works really, really well. Got the float clean. Got a lot of the stuff off of all of it. This is what we're using, by the way. Clean strip uric acid. Now we just have to put some water on there to neutralize the acid. You have to be careful, but this particular acid, it is safe and it is dissolvable by water. So, excuse me, it is neutralized by water. So we're gonna put some water on these parts to neutralize the acid. Then we're going to see what cleaning is left to be done because some of it does still need to be cleaned. So I'm just using the float because that black part wasn't in the acid, picking it back up, putting these pieces into the same bucket that I've already rinsed out with water. We're just gonna give them a little bath in water, neutralize the acid, so that I can touch these pieces again without burning my skin. Cool. I did not give this part an acid bath because of that board on there. I don't know if that can handle an acid bath, even though it's already messed up and been doused in brake clean. So I'm just gonna finish trying to clean that part up with brake clean and a brush, a soft brush. Worst case scenario, I think the gas light's not gonna work anymore. And actually, I don't remember, that bike might have a gas gauge. A lot of Hondas have a gas gauge. I think it does right there. That might not work anymore, but that's okay. And then we gotta give the tank an acid bath. Let's go. All right, so we got the acid bath done. I mean, it's not perfect. It's definitely stained yellow. I think we can all agree it is much better. There's the new pump, new O-rings, the rest of the plastic housing, the float. I don't know if you remember, this piece was crazy rusted, so that's in better shape. This will be the new filter that gets capped onto the end of the pump. Next, I'm gonna work on the tank. As I mentioned before, the tank came in a little dirty. I already cleaned all the gunk off of this part, but there's a lot of gunk on the inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the gas cap back on here, and then we're going to, there's some parts cleaner in there now. That actually started to come clean already with just the parts cleaner. Either way, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the driven gas cap on that side. We're gonna fill it with some uric acid and a bag of rocks, which I have right here. And then we'll slosh it around. Then we're gonna dump it out, give it a gasoline bath, hopefully slap this thing together tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. All right, so we got the pump all back together. I didn't really film all of it because it's dirty work and messy, but long story short, as you saw in the one part, this is 2 halves. Pop this housing off, pop the filter off of this housing, pull the pump out this side, pop this off the housing. I gave all the components a acid bath, then cleaned them off with water, brake clean and a brush to this part and any other parts that needed it. Then you blow this part of the housing out with air to get the acid, the water, the brake clean, anything else, and the old fuel out, as well as any of the crusty stuff that's gonna come out of there. Got the whole thing back together. Got the tank cleaned out too. Did the acid and rocks like I said I was going to. Then flushed it out with water as well to neutralize the acid. Really happy with the way the tank came out. Still just like the pump, it's stained in some places. See if I can get some light in there and get a better picture. What's next is to give the tank a gasoline bath and then see how much more clean that has to get. Put the pump on there and put it all back on the bike. See what we can do. I didn't get the tripod or the wide angle lens because I was too excited, but let's see what we got here. Still got to change the oil and change the plugs and then pray everything was all right. Because like I said, when it was parked, it wasn't running good, but we're on to something here. Hoping the injectors are fine. All right, well, there you have it. We got the eBay gas tank, got the rebuilt fuel pump using a kit from Quantum Fuel Systems, picked up from my local dealership out here in Southampton. The bike fired right up. We got a battery on order. We got some spark plugs on order. We already got the stuff to do the oil change. So it took 2 days worth of work, kind of, to do this. Look, there's a battery over there that used to go in it before it died. So it took 2 days worth of work, kind of, because I was off and on to get this done. But it worked. It's a success. Check the chain, check the tire pressure. Obviously, these tires are going to have to be replaced, but for the test ride, those are good to go. So we got to get this thing out on the street and see if the problem still exists. That's where we're at. Obviously, there's some more to come after that. We'll have to check the brakes, bleed the brakes. The brake fluid is definitely not the correct color in either master cylinder, but we're off to a really good start. So spark plugs on this thing are a little bit of annoying. Front 2 fairings are going to have to come off. Radiator's got to come out. I'd say it's today, Sunday. You'll probably see this Wednesday, but I'd say by Friday at the latest, this thing should be on the road. Kind of depends on what happens with me at work. But we're going to take her for a test by the end of the week for sure. And we'll see what's up. All right, guys. Until then, I will see you at the next video. Because today is Robert's birthday, and this is Robert's birthday.